Yes, people, what's happening? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another video. And welcome to the first match preview of the World Cup. England getting their campaign underway for what many people hope will be a successful campaign and a first major trophy since 1966. Yes, we are still waiting. But first things first, guys, before we get into the preview, please make sure you smash the likes on the video and subscribe to the channel. I'm edging ever closer now to that 2,000 subscriber mark. So if you're not subscribed and you're tuning in, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. But yeah, let's get into it then. England taking on Iran. First match of the Group B. And the group stage is important. You get off to a fast start. You only get 3 games, so you're putting yourself on the back foot straight away if you drop points in the opening encounter. And from an England perspective, they'll be expecting to go deep into this tournament. We've got the quality to do it, but the run up to the tournament has been really poor. They breezed through qualification, but this latest round of games, the Nations League campaign was utterly dire. Not picking up any wins, obviously shipping 4 to Hungary, losing both times to them. Losing both times to Italy as well, I believe. We've not been in good form at all. The unrest has been growing. I mean, Southgate was booed at Molineux after that Hungary game. A lot of people are Southgate out, but I'm one of those people. I'm not the biggest fan of Gareth Southgate, but right now, heading into a major tournament, it's not the time to be talking about replacing the manager, sacking the manager, or giving your Southgate agendas if you've got one. So it's a time to get behind the team and support them, whatever your thoughts on the manager are. That's going to be really important that we're united behind the lads and cheer them on and kind of see how far the boys can go. Because you've got the talent to go deep into this tournament, but it's whether Southgate is going to be, proactive. He's going to play on the front foot because Iran will sit deep. They're not a bad side. They're a lot better than people expect them to be, or give them credit for being. You've got Carlos Queiroz in charge, a very experienced manager. Yes, their build up to the tournament's been marred by all the political unrest going on over in Iran. But last time out in Russia, they were within 1 point of qualifying for the knockout stages in a group that contained Spain, Portugal, and Morocco. So they gave a very good account for themselves. And they'll be solid. They got a couple of decent players. I'm sure Chelsea fans will remember Tarabi, the Porto forward, who scored that overhead kick against us in the second leg in Seville. In the Champions League, in our successful Champions League winning run. And they've got Azmoun as well, the Bayer Leverkusen forward, who is also quite handy. But Iran, you'd expect them to sit deep, get men behind the ball, try and take advantage from set pieces and try and perhaps hit England on the counter-attack. So I don't expect this one to be a high-scoring game at all. And I think it's going to be a lot of hard graft, a lot of toiling for England. And they're just going to have to be patient and hope that one of those creative players can pick a key pass to unlock that Iranian defence, because it's going to be a really tricky game, this one. But it is vital that England get off to the best possible start, because, as I said, dropping points in your opener, you're putting yourself on the back foot and you're putting a lot of pressure on those remaining 2 group games. I mean, personally, I think Southgate will be approaching this one like he always does. He'll be setting up not to concede. He'll be setting up not to lose first, rather than setting up to win. I think we can expect to see the back 5, the 3-4-3 formation, as it were. Yes, England defensively have got issues. Not the best crop of defenders, not the strongest group of defenders. Unfortunately, given 2 are missing in Chilwell and Reece James, but also just in general, not the best crop to pick from in terms of English centre backs at the moment, having left the likes of Tomori at home and Trevor Chalobah perhaps a little bit too late in his good form. But yeah, not blessed with the best options at the back. So I think he'll probably be going for defensive stability. But if it was me, and I'm going to get into it now and bring that screen up, I would personally go with a 4-3-3. I think particularly given, in this group throughout, I think we are going to see teams sitting deep against England, and the impetus is going to be on England to break these teams down. And I think by getting an extra player in midfield or having an extra attacking player, however you want to do it, is going to be really beneficial and help us out, because as I say, we're going to be faced with tricky sides to break down here. I think the US might be a little bit more kind of proactive in the way they play, but certainly for Iran and Wales, they'll definitely sit in tight, try and nick something from set pieces and try and hit us on the counter attack. In goal, for me, it's going to be, and I'm sure as it will be for Southgate, it is going to be Jordan Pickford. I understand calls for Ramsdale or Nick Pope. I thought Nick Pope has done well for Newcastle this season, but we saw him get a couple of goals in the Nations League game. And he did make a couple of blunders against Germany in that 3-3 draw that we had at Wembley. And Ramsdale, even though he's been in good form for Arsenal, hasn't really been given much of a look in at England. Pickford is the number one. He's done it he's got previous tournament experience, had a very good Euros, was good in the World Cup last time out as well. And Southgate trusts him. And I think for me, there's no reason to make a change in the sticks. Even though, to be honest, I don't really think there's an awful lot between the three keepers. Pickford's got the experience in the England shirt and has done it in previous tournaments. So for that reason, he stays in the sticks and gets the nod from me. In terms of a centre-back pairing, England's best defender for me, John Stones, by a country mile. Really massive. I'm a big fan of John Stones. I have doubted his ability in the past, but he's a top defender. I don't know why I've put his full name in there. He's a top defender. And I think people are finally realising it now. Again, he's really important from set pieces as well. I mean, I like how he defends one-on-one. And yeah, just a solid player. And he's been there and done it in an England shirt. So for me, he goes in one of those centre-back positions. And I know he's not played a lot of football, and I know he's in terrible form at the moment. His confidence is low. But in terms of what other solutions we've got, I mean, he's not going to. Ben White for me is not going to play an awful lot. I mean, if we play in a 3, it's a different conversation. But I think Ben White's just there because of injuries, even though he's had a really good season. But Maguire, there's big pressure on him, and there's big pressure on Southgate now because Southgate, some might argue, and I agree, has shown blind faith in Maguire through poor form and not being picked regularly for Manchester United at all. So yeah, I'd go. It is going to be Maguire because he has, in fairness to him, he had a really good Euros. He was in the team of the tournament, and on the whole, he's done well in an England shirt. And this is going to be a big test for him because the manager's backed him big time, and now he has to step up and deliver. He certainly does need to do that. So it'll be interesting to see how he gets on. Right back, I'm going to go Kyle Walker. He's been training. It looks like he's got over that groin issue, and I would expect him to start in that position over Trent Alexander-Arnold. Trent is not trusted by Southgate. He's not fancied for whatever reason. I think defensively he's a bit of a liability. Southgate likes players to be defensively solid, as we know. So Kyle Walker, plus that, has got more England experience as well, more major tournament experience, as you would expect given his age. And he's playing really well for Manchester City at the moment, obviously pre-injury. So I'd go him. At right back. Left back, I know Southgate loves Trippier, and he probably would go with Kieran Trippier. I'm going to go with Luke Shaw. I think Shaw has been decent in an England shirt. He scored in the Euros final last time out. And he's been in half decent form for Manchester United. So personally, I feel that he deserves the nod. He's good getting forward, and defensively, he can. He's got a bit about him as well. So I would go with Luke Shaw in that position there. Although from Southgate perspective, I fully expect it to be Kieran Trippier. But this is my team, what I'd like to see. Moving into this midfield position now, there's only one man for the job. That's Rice baby, Declan Rice at the base of that midfield. There's not really too much to say about him. You saw how good he was in the Euros, one of the best midfielders on the planet, in my opinion, in that defensive role. Would love to see him in a Chelsea shirt next season. Let's see what happens there. But I think this could be a really important tournament for Rice, kind of on one where he can announce himself on the big stage. I know that he's kind of pretty well known, but this would kind of be an opportunity for him to show everyone what he can do. And I just think he's great in that position there. He sits well. He can break forward at times from that position. He's got good range of passing. He's got good tackling. So yeah, I'd stick Rice there. And in terms of the 2 number 8s, no, I'm not playing Calvin Phillips. I'm playing Jude Bellingham, who, I mean, the guy's had an outstanding season for Borussia Dortmund so far. He's had a great campaign in the Champions League. His ability defies his age, still a teenager. And this could be a real breakthrough moment for him. He's going to have a lot of clubs after him in the summer, going to be sold for well over 100 million from Borussia Dortmund, you would expect. And this is a chance for him to show everyone what he can do on the biggest of stages. So Bellingham for me goes in there. And again, that number 8 role allows him to be a bit more box to box. And we know he can finish because he's chipped up with a few goals in the past. And I think this is a moment now for Bellingham to really seize this opportunity and cement himself as a regular England starter. In terms of the other number 8 slot, it's tricky because I'm not going to, like I say, Calvin Phillips is not number 8 for me. Jordan Henderson is not it at the moment anymore in an England shirt, certainly, and not really in a Liverpool shirt either. And I know Mason Mount's not been in the best form, but I would probably just stick him in there just because of his, I know this sounds weird, but like because of his work rate, what he offers off the ball, and when on the ball as well, he still does offer a lot. He's a very talented boy. Yes, it's been a really poor season for him so far, but a break from Chelsea and kind of a fresh approach at the World Cup could be exactly what he needs. And I would stick him in there in that number 8 role, slightly deeper. Can obviously break forward from there. He's got good passing, great press in there as well. So for those reasons, I would stick Mount as the second number 8 in there. In terms of the front three, I think 2 of the 3 pick themselves. Sterling, again, another one who's had a poor season at club level for Chelsea, but in an England shirt, he delivers more often than not. Everyone was kind of, myself included, criticising his involvement, in the last Euros because of how poor a season he had at Manchester City. But as soon as he arrived in an England shirt, he pretty much carried that team to the final with really important goals, and he had a really, really good tournament. So you'd like to think Sterling can push on from them. For whatever reason, he does seem to perform really well in an England shirt. So I'd go Sterling on that left-hand side. Obviously, Harry Kane is going to play down the middle, and his goals are going to be really important to how far England go. I'd fully expect him to surpass Wayne Rooney's all-time England goal-scoring record of 53 goals in this tournament, which would be some achievement for Kane. And let's see if he can repeat his feat of last time out in Russia by winning that golden boot. But England are in big trouble if anything happens to Kane in terms of fitness issues or injuries, because the drop off next is a big drop down in quality. No disrespect to Callum Wilson. So Kane staying fit is going to be massive for England's chances of going far here. And then this right hand side is a tricky one because you've got Foden, you've got Grealish, you've got Saka, you've got Marcus Rashford. Saka is the form player, but for me, I'm going to go with Jack Grealish. And I know his numbers don't necessarily represent, don't tell the story of his season. I think Grealish has been really good for Manchester City this season. And as I said, he needs more goals and assists to his game, but his game is more than just assists and goals. It's never really been about goal scoring for Jack Grealish. And I think in tight games like this one, where defenders are going to sit deep, if Grealish can get on the ball, draw defenders in, create space, win a lot of fouls, set pieces, I feel are going to be really important in this game. So I'd stick Grealish on the right-hand side just for the ability of how good he is on the ball, how he sucks defenders in, creates space for others, and how he wins a lot of set pieces, because I think that's going to be, as I said, really important for England. So I'm going to stick Grealish on that right-hand side to round my team out. And I know there's no Phil Foden in there, which might surprise a lot of people. I know there's no Bukayo Saka in there, and Saka is in good form. But for me, Phil Foden, unbelievable player, really talented, but hasn't quite happened from an England shirt. For whatever reason, can't really seem to find the position to unlock his ability in an England shirt. But I still think, Foden to come off the bench and make an impact. But that's the team that I would go with for England versus Iran tomorrow lunchtime to kick off the World Cup campaign. Very briefly, though, if I was going to go to a back 5, I would bring Kyle Walker. Actually, no, I wouldn't bring. I'd leave Kyle Walker as right wing back. I would take Mason Mount out, and we would go like this: Stones, Maguire, and Ben White. And then I'd have Luke Shaw and Kyle Walker with Bellingham and Rice as a pivot, as a back 5 alternative. But to make things clear, I would 100% be going with the back 4, because getting an extra attacking player on the pitch is going to be really beneficial for us to break down a resolute Iran side who are definitely going to sit deep. But yeah, guys, that pretty much rounds out my match preview for England versus Iran. All that's left for me to do now is to give a score prediction. I think this is going to be a low-scoring, really tight affair. I'm going to go for a 1-0 England win and a goal scorer, Harry Kane. So 1-0 to England to get this campaign underway. It's going to be a tough game. It's going to be close, but England really needs to get the 3 points to get their group stage off to a positive start. But yeah, guys, that's it for the match preview. I'll catch you in the match reaction tomorrow evening once the game has been played. But, please make sure you smash the likes, as I said at the start, and please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And I'll catch you again soon.